What's going on, Benchwarmers? Welcome back to a non-packed episode. Not a lot to talk about. A lot of games got canceled, but still, we want to make sure we bring all this action to you and keep everybody posted and up to date and share our voices with you. As always, I am one of your hosts, Eric, the instigator,
Nick.
or the troll. I don't know. Nico the troll, I think it is going for it, bro.
Nico Troll. That's how he's saved in my phone now. Is Nico Troll. But I am John, also known as Gat, because I got stick for it last time.
Huh?
I'm Gat, also known as John.
Today is reversed. Today's John, also known as Gat.
Okay, and then I'm Marco the Sleepy.
What did you say?
Marco the Sleepy.
But yeah, a lot of games got canceled, unfortunately. Don't want to fall into the rabbit hole as far as, should the season get paused and all that and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really don't know why you're here again. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
Missed us. He doesn't like watching looking at us through cameras, and he doesn't play with you on Oculus. So
yeah, for real, man. So I messaged him like, yo, is it worth it? He's like, yo, 100%. I finally get it, and then I think it's been at least a solid 3 to 4 times that I've messaged him. I can't even pull up the messages and I'm like, yo, I'm sending him the eyes. I'm like, yo, what's up? Trying to play some VR or something, and no response. Like,
it's the timing. It's the timing.
I'm like, wow.
I was literally in the middle. I'm in the middle of a game every time you send me something.
It's the worst part.
I'm trying to practice my table tennis skills, man.
2 seconds, like, yo, no.
Listen, ranked all day, bro. So I'm in the middle. I can't pause it.
So I'm trying to make some new virtual reality friends. If you are on that, let me know.
I'm a virtual friend now. You need new ones.
Because only one virtual friend that has one play with me, so that's pretty sad. But yeah, I mean, a lot of games got canceled. Luckily, we had just one game to enjoy on Saturday. A couple of games to enjoy. Well, some of us to enjoy on Sunday. I know we'll go over all the Liverpool controversy that happened, but how are you guys feeling going into the Christmas fixtures and Boxing Day specifically? And do you think that right now, as it stands, all games are supposed to be played? You think it's gonna stand?
I honestly don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right?
It's just
weird.
It's just day by day thing. I have no clue.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do cancel at least half of them.
Yeah, right.
I think they also they're going based off of what sector of England is or what state or whatever they considered has more increase of cases, right? So I think that's why they haven't done the whole league. And that's why you're only doing certain teams.
Well, didn't they just come out with like a minimum, like if they can field at least a certain amount of players, they have to play them, and even if the U21s, if they've had senior experience, they have to use those players.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact number is, but I know that's what they're going by. If can you field a team? If the answer is yes, then you're playing. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I guess broadcasting companies want their money at the end of the day, but
yeah, the root of all evil. The game's gonna eat itself. It just continues to eat itself. But I mean, listen, we still got to see some Premier League action, so why not get into it? Is there anything that you guys want to get off your chest before we get into the football action that did happen this weekend? Anything that entertaining happened?
Spider-Man is awesome.
Oh, Spider-Man!
Please go watch it.
Yes, you watched it. 3 hours long, right?
It's 2. Yeah, it's 2.5 minimum, and then plus the credits. I will say there are 2 extra scenes at the end of the movie, so please stick around for those.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, so please go watch it.
Batman dies.
Batman dies completely wrong. Completely wrong universe. Completely wrong universe.
Yeah, definitely gotta watch that movie, man. I'm excited to watch that. I was telling Vlad earlier, I didn't see the second Spider-Man that came out with Tom Holland for like a long time.
From Home?
Yeah, until like about 3 weeks ago.
I mean, that's also good. If you don't see it when it comes out, then wait until like whatever the next one's coming, because it's back to back.
Then yeah,
you don't feel like you don't have to like, what the fuck happened here? It was 2 years ago last time I saw it. So I think that's a smart thing to do.
Well, I think that's a good way to transition into the last time I saw something really good, and that's Arsenal. So let's get into it. The first game that happened this weekend, Saturday. The only game on Saturday because everything else got canceled. So, y'all go for kickoff?
Let's do it.
All right. On a good note, I'm finding that was sound nice and strong and healthy. I'm liking the sound of it consistently like that. But yeah, Arsenal travel away to Leeds, and before we get into the game, just want to acknowledge the fact that where's that music coming from right now?
Upstairs,
Where's she playing at?
TV in the bathroom.
The bathroom. Yeah, the bathroom. Yeah. So sorry. It's distracting me. Like, is that coming from like that speaker right there? Because that thing's not plugged into anything right now.
I mean, that would be really funny.
Is there a
if it
ghost or
was
something
there,
in there? But all right. Where was I? Oh yeah, the game. Content of the game. Leeds were completely depleted.
They were, I believe, the only team that did not have any cases to worry about, but their entire starting 11 was out anyway. 'Cause
Exactly.
they're all
They're all
injured.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and to Bielsa's credit, like I feel like if they wanted to, they probably could have pushed, they could have kind of managed to get out of the game with so many injuries, given that COVID's around right now. But credit to Bielsa for saying, listen, it's not COVID, we're injured. It is what it is. We got to play. So credit to him. Unfortunately, the result does not favor him whatsoever. I did watch some of the fan perspectives, and a lot of fans were still chanting Bielsa's name, so it doesn't seem like he's on the chopping block or anything like that, although we may think he is. But Marco, talk to me how you enjoyed the first half of this game, and then how did you view the second half after they got the penalty?
Bro, this was a game to watch. I mean, the past two have, but this one specifically, I feel like they just walked in with like a certain confidence, right? They wanted it more. You can see that there was a pressure that they didn't allow Leeds to do literally almost anything. And seeing Martinelli, I think we've had this conversation towards the beginning of the season. Me asking, saying, why didn't he go on loan if not going to be used? And of course, at that time, I didn't know that Aubameyang was going to take the captaincy. Pepe wasn't going to be played anymore. So all those shits factor in, right? But I'm actually glad that he never left, because once they gave him the freedom and they allowed him to start games, you just see the transformation also of the team and how much value he brings into the squad. To see him play, to be able to score 2 goals, and just to overall make the team look better it's eye opening, and it just gives you hope on what we still have of the season. I think we can give the big six or the big five or whatever you want to consider the big teams this season a run for their money. I don't think we're going to win every single one of them, but I have a feeling that if we continue in this path, we can definitely at least take points away from these big teams.
Well, we took some away already from Spurs earlier this season. Unfortunately, Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea gave us a spanking, and United also, But yeah, the second half of the season to look forward to. To your point, yeah, Martinelli has been probably one of the most exciting players in past recent weeks. But I have to give credit to Arteta. He said be patient with him. Like he said in one of his interviews, he has gears to his game now. What does that mean? Before, when we saw him, last year, and even he would get those goals. Like it was like, oh man, this he's onto something. But in between those games, there was times he just looked lost, because when you're running 100 miles per hour every minute of the game, just because you're running doesn't mean you're influencing the game now. Correct. Now he has a better understanding. Now Arteta has, or maybe and the coaching staff, sorry, not just him, but the coaching staff have time to read, to learn when to attack, when to press, when to drop back. So his overall game has just improved tremendously from the beginning. And when we said, the whole loaning out thing, that was a big shout in the beginning of the season from a lot of fans, actually. And who knew Aubameyang was going to get stripped of the captaincy. But looking at it now, I think Martinelli is probably one of our best finishers on the team, including Aubameyang. If Aubameyang's in form, yeah, I'll take that back. But given everything right now, he's our best finisher. Like on the finish we saw against West Ham when he did that, I guess when Bielsa that far, that was Henry-esque. Then the finish he had against Leeds with the dink over, I can't pronounce his name right.
Melier.
I think of the Uruguayan goalkeeper. What's his name?
Muslera.
I don't know why. So Melier, that was Sanchez-like, but he's neither one of those players. He's a different player. It's exciting that we're seeing Martinelli. Emil Smith-Rowe, he comes on for
again another 20 minutes, not
exactly,
even
less than 20 minutes, and scores a goal. Dude, these guys, he's tied on goals with Ronaldo. He's
correct.
punching above his weight class. Let's enjoy this high because it's not gonna be here all season. But it's a lot of excitement to look forward to when you have all these young players playing together, knowing that they're gonna be growing and just building that on top of that chemistry. One player I do want to definitely shout out and highlight tremendously, and I've been saying it for so many times already, is Yasu. I feel like,
What a change from like, having Bellerin in there to him. How explosive he is.
dude, it sucks for. That's why I love defenders so much, because when a good defender is never gonna have a crazy, I guess, flowers thrown at them because they're not the ones scoring the goals all
Correct.
the time. But when a defender does his job, it just makes everything else work so much easily around him. Like, it just opens up the game so much more, and that's what Yasu does. Like, from our defenders, he's probably one of the best one-on-one defenders. I can't really see many people who beating him one-on-one. He's big character too for a right back. He's 6 foot tall, so he's a tall right back. That's huge. And I don't know if you guys watched the game, but there was one play where the ball was crossed in. He blocked off the cross. He chased the ball down, dinked and passed. I think it was Dallas, and won the foul and got him carded. Like, that's exactly what you want from a proper right back defender. Who a lot of fans were giving him stick in the beginning because we didn't know if he was a center back or a right back. It was still like up in the air. Who is this guy? So, I mean, I want to give him a lot of credit, because once we saw him come off with that injury, although it was only like a few minutes left of the game, 15 minutes maybe less.
There was a change in the game. There was a change of the pace.
I mean, you saw the goal come in.
Yeah.
And it came from where? From Cedric. It wasn't Cedric's fault per se, but you could tell the chaos that already has already occurred once Yasu was not there anymore. The loss of chemistry, the loss of connection, just there was the ball wasn't flowing as nicely there. So a lot of credit to Yasu, because I'm a huge fan of his, and I feel like he's not getting enough credit as it is. Arsenal are on the up and up right now. Southampton leads. Take it with a grain of salt. There were a lot of injuries, yada yada yada, COVID cases, this and that and the other. So it's not a strong team we're going up against. West Ham is the exception. That was a great win. We're in 4th place now. Enjoy it. I'll say it here, as I said in the chat before, I still think United are going to be the ones that are going to overtake us, top 4 at the end of the season. But as of right now, this momentum, enjoy it. Because, I mean, like I said in this interview, I don't know what the ceiling is with this team right now. And that's exciting. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
And one of my main takeaways from this game is, like you mentioned, ceilings, and it's almost like competition for places, which is one of the reasons why like Man City are always like we say like, oh, they're oil money or whatever, da da da. They spend so much on players, but like the reason why their players are so good is because they have players fighting for their own position. So like you see in the number 10 position for Arsenal, you see Martin Odegaard and Emil Smith Rowe battling it out. Whoever gets to number 10, it's only gonna get the best out of each other. And you saw like the one goal, Martin Odegaard got almost like a Ozil chip to.
I thought you were gonna bring up the game beforehand when Emil Smith Rowe came on for Odegaard, and he scored. Odegaard had like a face like, fuck.
And then even
my competition.
even in this game, right before Smith Rowe came on, didn't Odegaard provide like the assist? Didn't he provide it like his last touch was like a
This past game?
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't it this one?
Assist Emil Smith Rowe.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Pass,
Yeah,
it was a beautiful pass.
right before he came off.
But like to your point, like the competition, like you saw it in his face last game when ESR scored. He was like, "Fuck." He just came on for 2 seconds and scored, and I've been in the whole game, and I couldn't really do much, which is not criticism on him. Different players, they're completely different players, but yeah, the competition for positions, that's what Man City thrives on.
And you guys have like a solid foundation. You just need to build off like that specific like note on like competition for places.
Yeah.
Because like the past years, like for example, like Liverpool and their wingers, like they've had no competition whatsoever. Like Mane, his competition is no one, along with Salah, and Firmino gets competition with Jota. Jota overtakes his place. So it's like if you can get competition in places, in most of the positions on the squad, you're set.
Let me ask you this. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because you said like for Mane, and Mane specifically kind of was brought up in a podcast I was listening to today. They were comparing Martinelli kind of like Mane, like he's like a similar player to Mane.
I would think more like a human son. I don't know. I just the way I see Martinelli dribble kind of reminds me of Son, and he's also a lethal finisher. Mane is a pretty good finisher, but Son is a different class of finishing. I don't know. Probably yeah, but I'd probably lean more towards Kingman Son.
Well, we got a lot to talk
Yeah.
about him today, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But yes, Arsenal walk away with the 3 points. Poor Bielsa, man, has it rough right now. That squad is definitely hurting, and they had a couple injuries in this game as well.
He
on
had
top
you
of that.
guys. He had you guys a little nervous there in the second half, though, didn't he?
So,
Even before the goal, I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about not a couple weeks, but when we played you guys got the early goal. You guys had your feet on our throats, and you guys let off. It almost felt like you guys were about to do the same thing here, but you were up 3 goals. But there was still a time where I'm watching this game. And it was a really good game, and I'm thinking like Leeds might have a chance here because they started controlling a little more in the beginning of the second half.
So that's funny you say that because yeah, you're right. The first half, great first half, probably one of the best first halves. I mean, we had I think we set a record that half actually with the most shots on target in the Premier League, which is kind of crazy, but for Arsenal especially. But the second half, yeah, we fell asleep. The foot came off the gas for a bit. When they scored that goal,
That
you know
woke him.
feeling you
That
get as
woke
a
him up.
feeling?
That woke him up.
Exactly. You know
That
that
woke him.
feeling as a fan, like, oh shit, here we go. It's like fucking 3-1, the worst scoreline you can never ask for because all they need is one goal. The fucking momentum changes completely. It's the worst scoreline you can have. But I didn't get that feeling. It kind of looked like these guys, they looked around at each other like, fucked up. Let's get one back and kill the game out. And that's exactly, once I got that goal, it just turned around again. Like, there wasn't really anything threatening. A lot more composure. It wasn't chaotic as we would have seen in the past after conceding a goal. They fucked up. They knew it, and they responded back with another goal. And that's what I want to see. I want to see more ruthlessness because from those 11 shots on target, I wanted more goals, honestly, because we could have had some. Like I said, missed 2 fucking sitters.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little spoiled now. I was expecting like a world class save from Ramsdale again for another week, and we didn't see that because he didn't have much to do.
Exactly, that's my point. He didn't have much to do.
I was kind of disappointed.
Didn't have anything to do, and I mean,
I think
that's a
the
credit-
commentators even mentioned that
Yeah.
he literally had nothing to do for most of the game.
That's a credit to the defenders. One last question I asked about this Arsenal team right now, and then we'll move on to the next game. But with all the obviously the talking points of Aubameyang and the captaincy, when you look back at all the great teams of history, they've always had that one strong leader. Look at Barcelona, Puyol. You look at Liverpool, they have Van Dijk, Henderson, those strong leaders. You look at United. I mean, I would say probably now Ronaldo, but
I think it's a Harry Maguire.
yeah,
Don't say Maguire.
I'm sorry, I probably took too far
Don't
ahead.
say.
But I look at Chelsea, Frank Lampard. Those great teams always had great leaders. Arsenal, Vieira, and Tony Adams, great leaders, strong, like fight for the badge kind of leaders. Obviously, Aubameyang, we can all say he never fit the script. But who would you guys appoint? Obviously, it looks like Lacazette's going to be the captain going into the end of the season. But once that's all said and done, the dust settles. Who's your captain for this team? Who do you think is the one that's going to lead them with the proper mentality and the right, I guess, captain traits?
It's between 2 for me, maybe 3, but between Ramsdale or Martin Odegaard. In my opinion,
I would
just
say
because, like,
Ramsdale.
I
Hands
feel like
down.
if Odegaard gets like, if he gets like, if you look at it, if you look at Arsenal right now, like, and you think of Martin Odegaard and you think, all right, he's an established starter. If he's able to do like be an established starter, I think like him and his connection with Mikel Arteta, just because I feel like right now,
Yeah.
Arteta's splash with like 45
Odegaard?
M's on Odegaard.
I think it was around the 30, 35, I think.
And it's kind of like clearly indicating that he wants him to kind of be like, I guess, a franchise player or whatnot. So if he's able to get kind of like that running that team where he's almost like, all right, yeah, Martin Odegaard is Arsenal's number 10. I'd probably lean more to Odegaard. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's still a tough question because I know it was mentioned before, but you look at the players that you guys have. You guys have captains from everywhere. And I know you brought it up before. I think Odegaard's Norway, Tierney, Scotland. You have all these people. I would still say Ramsdale, just because he's putting. Well, what's the saying? You put your money where your mouth is. He's definitely showing up.
He's a classic shithouse.
Classic shithouse. I would go for him, but Odegaard's a good shout too.
Marco,
you already know my answer. My number 1 is Ramsdale. That's without a doubt. That of course you have to have second and third in command. Tierney is definitely a shot for me. And I wouldn't mind Odegaard. I would also prefer between Odegaard and maybe Smith Rowe.
Captain?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like tier like 3, 4. So you're number 1 for me. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if every team has it, but like most teams have 4 captains. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the captain group. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, if I had to choose right now, who was it? Ramsdale 1, Tierney 2, Odegaard 3, and I'll give Smith Rowe the 4th one. And you barely see it, but
Do you think I feel like it's a little recency biased
really?
because I would have Saka over Smith Rowe in that aspect.
I don't know, man.
He's just more of an established
I don't
starter.
have Gabriel over.
Yeah, 100%. I was attacking players, yeah, but Gabi. So I'll give you my top one. So my top ones are Tierney, first captain. Second one, Ramsdale. Third one, Gabi. Fourth one, Odegaard. Reason why I'm more towards Tierney. Honestly, I probably put Ramsdale on the bottom of that list. The only reason being, and there's more preference than anything else. I think a captain should be somebody on the field, not in the goal, because if something's happening other than the field, they have no
can't run
influence.
all
But don't you? I mean, like
But Ramsdale spends a lot of
Neuer?
time with his defense anyway. He comes up so far.
Yeah, he does.
Manuel Neuer.
Don't get me. I mean, to Eric's defense, there has been great captains that are goalkeepers, but there's always a captain on the field that makes those judgment calls. Like in Casillas' era, Sergio Ramos was on the field. Yeah, Sergio Ramos will take care of the situation wherever it's at. So like in that defense, like there is always a second captain on the field, even though the main captain is the goalkeeper.
Yeah. So that's just personal preference for me. I like to see the guy with the captain man who's in the ref's face on the field because that's where it's mostly going to be taken care of, most of the business, right? Ramsdale, I mean, 100%. He fits literally every trait that you want in the captain. But yeah, for me, it had to be Tierney, Odegaard, or Gabi, because it was like they just fight, man, and I love it. But yeah, that's all on Arsenal. I know that's a lot on Arsenal. A lot still to come. We don't know how high their ceiling is. We don't know. I think we know how low the floor is already, but they're trying to get there again. The next game that happened, Wolves hosting Chelsea 0-0. I think Nick's 3 in the back conspiracy theories starting to look more like fact than fiction.
I guess so.
I think this is probably the Chelsea defense that we kind of expected to see.
Also, a COVID-ridden team.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well,
3 players: Lukaku, Callum Hudson-Odoi,
just 3 though.
Havertz.
Just 3.
I mean, are they really missing Lukaku right now?
But you also got to think about it. I mean, if those 3 players weren't COVID related, I mean, yes, they'll get time on the pitch, but I think we still would have seen the same starting 11. Maybe not Kovacic in there and Conte maybe because they literally just came back, and Tuchel had no choice but to play them. But
so we're looking at the squad right now. I mean, the only one I question is Pulisic because he doesn't really play much. But other than that, they have a full lineup. There's no reason why they shouldn't bring it.
yeah, I mean, you also got to give credit to Wolves because they've stepped up big time defensively recently. Connor Cody is a wall back there.
Yo.
He commands his back line. It's hard to get through that. But like I said, this is probably the Chelsea defense that we're expected to see.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know the struggles that they're clearly having with everybody else. But
if I'm that's 2 games in the balance, they drop points, right? What Wolves and who was the last one again?
Geez, I'm going blank.
I'm going blank too. I don't remember.
What the hell?
I'm really curious now because
I want to guess.
What was the question?
Chelsea.
who was the
Who'd they
last
play
team that
last?
Chelsea?
Who'd they play last time that they dropped points?
Ah,
Everton, right?
Everton.
Everton.
It's interesting because like they're like clearly missing Kovacic and Conte in the midfield right now.
Fully fit ones.
Yeah, fully fit because they had to get back in game shape. But I mean, Nick, you said it last game once. When Tuchel came in last season, it was late in the season, late in the Champions League tournament as well. So whatever he influenced on the team was new. So people weren't ready to see what. Yeah, you can go from his previous teams. Previous teams means different players. He has different players, so you can't really base his style of play on anything. So he caught everybody kind of off guard. You know, you said it. People adapt. We're in the Premier. This is the Premier League. People are gonna analyze the game, break it down, and find ways to work against you or just bring it to you instead. And I mean, it's the past 2 games are starting to show signs that the 3 in the back system is starting to get exposed.
I mean, I really want to know if Antonio Conte played a 3 at the back system with Juve. Do you guys know if he played a 3 at the back with Juve?
I'm only inclined to say yes,
just because
because that's his preferred lineup anyway. So, but I
it's
don't
like
know.
I mentioned on the last part. It's like with Chelsea, he was only there for what, like 2 to 3 years. After the first year, they won the title. They didn't do anything. Inter only there for 2 years. They win the title. He moves on. Now at Spurs, he's implemented a 3 at the back system. It probably won't last that long if he's there for the long term run. So it's already there, like in like the tracks that you've already seen that managers who play the 3 at the back system, most likely it'll never
Longevity.
the longevity of the overall system will never last.
How did Tuchel play at PSG? Do you remember that? Was that 3 in the back? Or
No,
4?
he didn't play 3 at the back. He played 4. Yeah, it was like Bernat, Kimpembe, Marquinhos, and then Dani Alves
Yeah,
at
I
the
feel
time
like
2 years ago.
he tried it and it didn't work out. I think his players weren't meant to be playing 4 in the back, 3 in the back. Sorry.
Okay. Well, Chelsea continue to drop points, meaning that the gap between well, I'll say now, them and Man City are just getting bigger and bigger. Speaking of Man City, they just ran a route over Newcastle again. Thank you very much. 4-0 Newcastle going down, down, down. Hopefully down to the championship and stay down there as long as they can.
Fucked
But
up. That's just about right.
yeah, fuck them, bro. What? They got all that money, man. They got the rich. The Man City beat the richest team in the club in the league.
That's true.
Number 2,
4-0.
number 1.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, right? But yeah, anything on that game that you guys want to bring up? John Cancelo
Only that Cancelo is like the best fullback in the world right now.
making a shout. Looks like
I mean,
he's
goal and assist, and that assist. I mean, just
I mean, I think there's definitely a better left back.
That was not a good assist.
I mean,
I think there's a better
goalie
there's-
literally-
there's
I
another
mean,
left back that had
no,
a
it wasn't the goalie.
That same day.
it was Jamal. I think it was Jamal
Never
Lewis,
had a
the
hat-trick that
center
time?
back.
Hat trick of goal, assist, and record.
Oh shit.
But we'll get to that.
Oh, bro.
Well, I mean,
That's what
look.
I'm saying.
look.
There's better left backs.
All right, so
That's actually a hockey term. That an Eddie Howe hat trick for anyone who follows hockey. That's actually a term when you get a goal and assist, and you well,
some stuff?
in hockey you just get a penalty. But yeah,
So I mean, look, we talked about Man City, and adding Newcastle. We talked about Chelsea dropping some more points again. Let's get into Liverpool and Spurs, man.
What a shit show.
Huh?
What a shit show.
what a game!
Yeah, man,
what a
but-
game though.
What a shit show from the ref, first of all, because
correct.
it just shows how it doesn't matter what technology you have in place. If you have the wrong people using it, it's still not going to work. But before we get into all the controversy, Nick, talk to me about the game. What were your thoughts about it? How did Conte match up the collapse, high press, and your overall reaction to the game?
Well, like Liverpool had like crazy amount of like COVID cases. It was
Another one.
like
I think it was both teams had like no one in the midfield because of COVID cases. Like you had,
Spurs had that many missing.
they
cases?
didn't have. It wasn't your usual Hoiberg and Skip that it's been recently.
well,
It
Skip got
was
subbed
it
on.
was.
I mean, recently
Winks.
is like what 3 game weeks.
I mean, but under Conte though. I mean, it wasn't your normal.
Man, I
It wasn't
understand
your
that,
normal
but like,
midfield.
if you're comparing like Højbjerg to like Fabinho
And Van
and
Dijk.
Van Dijk and Henderson, and well, he doesn't have COVID, but he's ill. It's like. a
But I think
huge
the point. I
difference.
mean, guess the point that I'm trying to get to is, I mean, it wasn't your usual midfield from either side, and you can see where like the biggest influence in any game is going to be. Like if you don't control the midfield, it's just going to be ping pong back and forth, and that's exactly what we saw.
That's a good point because like Liverpool started like kind of like 2 ends of like the rope. I guess it was Premier League debut for Talon Morton, which is like he's decent. Like he looks technically good, but it's obviously like he doesn't have like that dog in him.
He's
yet.
raw. He's still
Yeah.
raw.
And then obviously like a 50-year-old James Milner, he'll come in to do a job like 70 minutes in the game, but to start a full Premier League game away at Tottenham, although Liverpool have had a decent record away at Tottenham, it's not good enough. And Keita, like he played decently, but again, you mentioned like if you don't control the midfield, it's over for you. And you kind of watch that between like the counterattacks and whatnot. Like the amount of times Tottenham were able to just get through Liverpool's midfield easily with no real like fight from Liverpool's midfield. It was like way too easy. And you definitely saw like especially with Joel Matip, you saw that he was kind of like exposed. Without like kind of like that transition defense from Liverpool, because you kind of have like Henderson and past years Wijnaldum, this year like Thiago and Henderson and Fabinho, like that solid core and whatnot. But without them, he kind of just looks like he doesn't know which side to go. He doesn't know when to jump out, when to drop back. There's a lot of times where he's almost like kind of caught out of place. And before, like you'll probably see like Henderson or Thiago in that position, kind of like dropping back and covering for him. But yeah, man, it was just like. Well, I didn't really expect that. I was kind of confident going into the game just because like it was kind of like one of those where I see, oh, Tyler Morton, Premier League debut, he does well away at Tottenham. It's like kind of like a story written thing. But I didn't really expect that from Tottenham, especially like the system they played. It was kind of
Straight counter.
exactly,
Straight
and
counter.
Kane and Son up top.
And a big gap in the middle. We just saw that gaping gap in the middle.
Dele Alli starting, like
He
looked
he
good.
had a game. He had a
He
shift.
looked good.
He looked really good.
But yeah, at one point I thought like Conte kind of like outcoached Klopp in that game. I think he got every like aspect of that specific game right in terms of on the other end, Klopp kind of like I don't know. I think at times like he could have changed the system, Klopp, to kind of like negate that, like you just mentioned, that press from Tottenham. It was almost like it's a crazy press because their whole attack was just overloading. You saw like the amount of like over the top balls, and it's almost like I understand when Klopp plays a high line, where it's almost like literally the halfway line because it helps with the press and
They
whatnot.
exposed that.
But when you don't have a midfield of Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, with the
It gets
likes of
through.
Moore and Milner, it gets through easily, like a knife through hot butter.
Yeah.
Or a hot knife through.
Yeah, hot butter. Yeah, you go right through it. It just melt.
Yeah.
So you're fine either way. But no, but to your point, yeah, I mean, you saw Conte's game plan precisely picked out, and we were talking about last episode. You know, the rhythm. They're gonna be out of rhythm. Boy, was I wrong on that? 100%.
I think
It-
we all
yeah,
were.
It looked like
Everybody.
It
Was.
looked like Conte was able to implement his game plan and blueprint it into their brains because whatever they did, it worked out very well. But let's talk about a little bit about the controversy calls. Obviously, the Kane one. I mean,
I have a question for you
what's up?
before you get into it. You and Nico, not so much, or myself, I can't ask this question because I haven't played as often as you guys have. When you tackle a person, do you feel what you have tackled? When you hit somebody and you know you hit them, do you know you hit them, or you're like, oh, I might have touched them here or there?
Sometimes
It depends.
It depends how fast it is.
It depends
but
on the pace of the game, and it depends on. Sometimes it even depends on the angle you come in. Like just
Yeah,
it
yeah,
depends. There's a
it's
lot to it.
adrenaline. Sometimes you don't feel shit.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
fucking ran into somebody.
Because I feel like sometimes like they're like, oh, I just don't know.
I mean, dude, it's just
I'm
acting.
like once you have to self like I feel like sometimes you have to be like I prefer players like when Son did it. I think 2 seasons ago, that you honestly felt that he was sorry for what he had done.
Different scenario though, because something actually happened.
Yes, but in this case, like it could
Nothing
have been
happened.
worse.
It could have. How many times could have been
Yeah.
worse though?
I mean, all right, well,
You know, like,
yeah.
I get your point. Like you'd expect Kane to be more like sympathetic.
Oh yeah,
He's a dick.
I mean,
He's an asshole. He's a dirty piece of shit, and we've all called him out for that.
He's the golden boy though.
He's
the golden
is
boy.
the key word. He's the golden boy of the Premier League because he's England's captain, and England's captains have been favored throughout history in the Premier League. Alan Shearer was another one that was notorious, a dirty cunt, but he would get away with everything because he was the England's captain. It is what it is. That's the reality. Wayne Rooney, another one, captain of England. He's a fucking piece of shit too, isn't he? But he got red carded because he's a real piece of shit. But he's a good piece of shit on the field. My point is, when you're the England captain, you get certain favors, whether the refs
get away with murder.
Yeah, whether the refs want to call it or not, it's up to them. Because although I do think Robertson was also a red card, that was nowhere near as bad as a tackle on him.
No, to me, I think I'm not mad at the ref. I'm mad because VAR wasn't involved both times. I'm more mad because we've been saying it since day one. It's just not consistent. I would be okay if they were both carded the same way. If they were both yellow, fine, as long as it's consistent. But the fact that one that looked, it looked bad. It does look bad. When you slow it down, but
in front, it wasn't like this one, like 6 yards away from him, where Kane took out Robertson.
It doesn't, dude. In the age of VAR, it doesn't matter where you are in the pitch. Everything is visible, and the fact that the ref didn't call that, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind, and it bothers me because we've been on the receiving end as an Arsenal fan, where McDean, for example, he had a bad game, and it didn't cost us points per se because maybe we could have overcame that. But when a ref has a poor game and misses these calls, those calls completely influence the game completely. It changes everything.
Didn't Brightman get
everything
2 seasons ago? That's kept him away from. I can't remember.
It might have been Sheffield with the goal line technology one where it crossed the line, but it didn't work.
I know one that'll pop up. Wolves away, Arsenal last season. David Luiz.
Yes, red card, double jeopardy, but they didn't come into play, and things like that. It's just like what bothers me the most, like, okay, I understand a ref can have a bad game just like a player can have a bad game, like a coach can have a bad game. But the thing is that when a player has a bad game, they get penalized and can't play for that game in another game or whatever. They get suspended for 3 games, whatever the case may be. But when a ref has a bad game, all that happens is, okay, you know what? You want to officiate, but you'll be a VAR referee for the next game. You're still a bad referee. Your judgments haven't changed. You haven't learned anything. If anything, you're just giving them more reason to continue fucking up. I get you can't like make every referee perfect, but there has to be some additional penalty to these referees because they're costing team points.
I think I brought this up, and I won't make this long. Do the referees that ref in the Premier League do they ref in the Championship?
No.
There should be a promotion relegation type of thing. If you're a shit referee, you drop down. If you're a good referee in Champions, you drop up. You go up.
Get an all or nothing referee edition.
And then where you affecting their pockets?
That's true.
And what's the worst thing that you can do to anybody? Affect their pockets.
Yeah.
Then you start learning to do the right shit.
Yeah.
But who's I brought this up a while back.
That's a great point.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah.
I think I brought this up.
You never fuck with the hand that feeds you. So yeah.
They're never gonna do it. But I mean, that is what I think should be done.
Yeah. It awards good officiating and it takes away the bad officiates to have them learn from their mistakes. But yeah, man, like this was another classic example of how a referee can influence a game in the wrong way.
Especially because the Kane incident was first. That was early on in the game. If that would have been, if that was, if first of all, if that had gone to VAR, and then make the decision. Okay, that's clear. Even though it was one and not both, it still studs up. If Kane gets a red card there, that changes the game.
100%.
That changes the game early on.
Dude, he honestly, I would say he probably cost them. He cost Liverpool 3 points today, or 2 points that day because they got the 1 point. But I would say he cost them that because Kane was an instrumental point in their transition play. Just lobby the ball up to him because he's the big body, and then just feed Son every single time, and it worked like 4 or 5 times out the rip. If you would have been out the game plan is dead. It's sit behind the ball, which Liverpool will eventually exploit. But bad officiating leads to unfair results, in my opinion, and it irks me, man, because I hate at some points you say to yourself, yeah, you know what, we'll get some against us, but we'll get some in our favor, but it never balances each other out.
I think it's shit that you have to say that too.
It never balances each other out.
Today we got the wrong end, but you know what? Tomorrow in like 2 games, there's a possibility that we might get all right. Exactly. I think that's shit.
Yeah, but what do you think, Nick, as a fan, as a supporter watching it?
On the challenges?
On both, yeah. I mean, especially the one on Robbo too.
No, I think they're definitely both red cards. It was just kind of like unlucky, not unlucky on Robertson, but it was just like the reason why Kane didn't get a red card is because like Robertson kind of like jumped a little bit. I mentioned to Marco and Eric yesterday, like if his foot was planted, he gets his leg broken easily, like this, like you fully see his full leg kind of like implant or whatever.
Yeah. So because he read the situation and he tried to help himself, that means that whatever the other person does is not.
But that's
not
as that's not even the rule. That's not the rule, though. That's the rule. Kane was out of control.
Next time, you know what? Next time, just fucking.
That's still considered serious
injury,
foul play.
We'll see if it is,
whether Robertson read it properly or not, Kane shouldn't be doing that.
Look, man.
Yeah, so any player from now on should not jump when somebody's sliding because you should take the hit and maybe get a proper call.
Do I get my leg broken? But at least they get a red card. I mean,
imagine that
after 3 games, after an entire season.
Yeah. Do I want to help my team win or?
For real, but nah, man. It's fucked up. But that wraps up the Premier League action that did happen this past weekend. We have some more happening, which will quickly give you our predictions for those lineups.
Hold on. I think I said unlucky on Robertson. I'm not saying unlucky that he didn't get or plant his foot. That like unlucky that
he got a red card.
Exactly, like he was like very lucky to like jump up a little bit.
Yeah.
He read the rule. He was lucky that he read it correctly.
Yeah, I just want to say that just in case anyone like.
I mean, we know that you don't like him. We know that you're happy.
I like him.
But he got a goal then and assist.
We know that you're excited that he has a red card. It was a straight red, right?
Yeah, it was.
So that means
it was overturned. It was yellow. and then they overturned it.
Okay.
If it was a double yellow, he would have been out for that game plus one game. But because it was
It was 3 games.
straight direct red, it was just 3 games.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
you should be
he's-
excited. Then. That's why you said unlucky.
You guys
I mean,
No,
You
well,
get
he's been on,
Simicast.
he's been on a
you
form.
really want it.
He's been on a form.
You get Simicast now, though. That's
he's
your
good,
boy.
but He is my boy. But no, Robertson has been on form. Like,
Simicast
if I were to choose, obviously I wouldn't choose him to get a red card. But I'm still confident in Simicast. That's
You're
the
not
beauty
hurting.
of depth in position. You know?
I
not crying
I
about it.
was just gonna say that. But you have depth. It's like, okay, well, we have something else that's gonna do the same job.
Now,
Maybe better.
if Trent were to get
Oh, that's
a red
different
card,
story.
that's a different story. Playing Nico Williams for 3 games. So.
Before we get into this week, this Boxing Day predictions, I want to ask you guys one quick question, and I asked my brother this earlier. I'm back and forth on this. Honestly, I'm probably still sitting on the fence. I was on one side, but then I thought about it some more. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it yet. But my question is, how do you guys feel about this rule change? And I'm speaking into the universe. Maybe it's already out there. I don't know yet. But let's eliminate stoppage time as a whole. No more the extra 4. No more extra 4 minutes. No more extra 5 minutes at the end of the 90 minutes.
Okay.
Every time the ball is dead, you stop the clock.
So, basketball, no?
Basketball. You're getting a true 90 minutes of actual footballing. The reason I bring this up is because Kyle and myself, we were actually doing the numbers, and we realized that all the time wasting in between, starting the ball back up again, compared to what they actually give at the end of the game, is never accurate. It's usually off by at least 4 or 5 minutes extra. So that alone could influence the game entirely.
I get where you're going with this.
Before you split any hairs, I haven't dove into the
Yeah.
facts and everything yet. I'm just saying, just kind of as a
Hypothetical.
base,
Yeah.
base layer. That's
All right. My opinion on it is if they, let's say they start doing it, whatever, MLS, because it would, if anywhere would happen here, let's say. I feel like they would start throwing, or like, all right, let's throw a commercial. Oh, you know what? A break. Oh, this. So those, then it starts extending. So we don't no longer have a 45. Yes, we have a 45-minute game.
Well, now we
because
have to
it's
sit
paused
through.
so many times, we can start throwing shit in
so,
between.
to give you an idea about basketball. There's no commercials in between dead balls. It's a timeout. There's a commercial, but between a dead ball, there's no
But
commercial breaks.
so what? How do I mean? Again, it's still hypothetical because this is not an official rule. But what would stop them from saying, okay, now let's create a timeout?
Well, I didn't bring any timeouts up.
No. I'm saying you start with one, but one influences the other.
Well, that's why I said when you bring in VAR, you're gonna influence the flag.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said the first thing before
But-
you
yeah, but I'm not bringing about
Yeah.
timeouts. I'm not talking about timeouts.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it as long as there's a certain. Also, you can't pull over a certain amount of time unless there's an actual injury. Like if it's like, all right, if it's a throw-in, you can't exceed the 30 seconds. Like you can't over.
Basketball has it. You can't wait more than 5 seconds to inbound the
I
ball.
was gonna say that a good kind of measuring point. In soccer or football, or whatever, you get fouled. Obviously, there's no commercial, whatever. They put the ball down, the team gets settled, they pass it. In basketball, when you get fouled for a free throw, there's no commercial. They get settled, the players get on their own blocks and whatnot, and he shoots a free throw. So it's kind of similar in the way free throws in basketball and fouls in soccer, because there's no timeout or commercials. They would just get on with it.
I get your point, and that's one thing that came up to my mind is once you create a break in the game, then you're gonna allow the commercial people to oh, well, can I get some more money out of this? But in basketball, when I think about basketball, there's no commercial breaks in between fouls and things like that, unless it's a timeout or a long injury. But yeah, no, just kind of base play. Yeah, no more stoppage time. The ball's dead, but every time you got to do a free kick, you have X amount of time to start it off again. Or I don't know what the penalty is, but I'm just saying that's in my view, it gives you actual 90 minutes of football, and it gives both teams a fair chance of getting the result, because the team that's losing isn't gonna benefit from that. Team that's winning isn't gonna benefit from time wasting anymore.
That's a good point, because in basketball, you're getting a full 48 minutes of basketball. In NFL football, you're getting a full 15-minute quarters, right? You're getting the whole game. But in soccer, football, you're getting 80 minutes of actual playing.
So much
75, 80.
So much that time. It's crazy.
I mean, I also think that it
that would kill the game for a neutral.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like the idea, I also feel like with basketball or with football, you don't know how long the game, even though it is true time, you don't know how long it can extend.
Well, because there's no winners. There's no draws. Sorry,
Correct.
There's no
Yeah,
draws.
yeah. But let's say in a normal game scenario, it's 110, 100 basketball. It's what 12 minutes, 14 minutes a quarter.
12 minutes, I believe, right?
Basketball?
15 minutes,
basketball.
right?
12.
12.
Okay.
So that's what 48 minutes.
Yeah.
But those 48 minutes fit in what 2 hours?
Yeah, because there's timeouts in between that
And they can
And quarters.
there's a possibility it can go a little bit more.
if they draw.
I feel like that would extend too much in a broadcast, and I think that's where they would say no.
TV rights 100% would have to change. But again, I'm not talking about timeouts. I'm just saying if you want to get actual.
I like the idea
sensible.
because, like I said, it's a true 90. It's just that I feel like with that, it would just bring in a lot more things.
Yeah, I mean it's
like everything.
It's a good question. It's
So far, I
definitely
haven't seen the flag yet, though.
VAR is how old?
3 years? 3 years, right?
When was the handball
4 years?
introduced? I mean, sorry, not the handball, but the pass to the goalkeeper where they can't pick it up. When was that introduced?
Oh, fuck. You got me there.
Take a walk, guys.
Early 90s, no?
What would you say?
I would say 10 no, a little more. 20 years ago?
So what? In the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
90s?
Late 90s?
We were born in 92, 90, 90, yeah. It was changed in 1992 where the goalkeepers could not pick the ball back up. Soccer has not changed that much from then.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
you used to do
soccer
that-
has
you-
changed a lot much from then.
Yeah.
Like the game has changed a lot.
I mean, did everybody do it? This could be a very dumb question of mine. Did everybody do the hockey thing that you would, for penalties, instead of having a penalty, you would run until
MLS.
MLS was the only one that did it?
MLS.
Okay.
But look, my point is like, yeah, you're saying change will bring change.
It always happens. Yeah, that's correct.
Everything is changing.
I just feel
VAR
like
came in.
That's too far for me.
Yeah, I mean
But,
it's
I
a
mean,
good
You
question.
always had the argument of the bar with flags.
I'm actually for VAR now. Is it being used
If it was-
properly
if it
all the
was
just
time?
not-
correct.
You're just not
Right.
for the people behind for it.
Exactly. I'm not a fan of the way it's being used properly. But no, I'll bring that rule change because I'll look at the numbers and it's like, damn, man. Like if you're like on the losing end of like a 1-0 and the momentum's slowly getting on your side, and every single foul you do, you waste another minute. It just kills the game more. You lose your chances completely deplete, and it's just not fair.
Yeah.
And as a neutral, if you're watching that game, you're like, damn, these guys literally are just diving all the time.
Most refs have 2 watches on them. One that has true time and one that has just the 45 minutes.
I don't know how many watches they have on them, but they estimate how much time they give at the end, but it never equals what really should be
it
given.
never
Because
does.
even in stoppage time, there's time wasting.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's just but whatever. That was my my hot take, I guess you would say.
Yo,
Imagine before you do that, imagine you're up 1-0, 90th minute, and you have that random change of a player, right? Because you want to kill time because that's what we know.
Yeah.
Imagine like, all right, we'll take whatever time you want, bro. Because the next 30 seconds is still theirs.
That's my point.
You want to high five everybody? High five everybody. The time has stopped.
That's my point. Like it would eliminate the time that they just like the walking off the stuff.
Yeah.
the clapping,
The clapping, the
fans,
take
and
out the cigar right there.
Yeah.
The shoe.
But you know what? But you know what's fun though about the time wasting is the shithousery that goes on.
100%.
I mean that's
The pushing, the shoving,
Right,
the
like,
But that's
arguing
when you're
with
on the
ref.
winning side, though.
I mean, even
all
if you're
right.
on even if you're on the other side, I mean, just the fact that even if it gets you riled up, like that's part of it.
It's a part of the game, 100%.
It's part of
but
it.
It doesn't.
Like what
it
happened?
shouldn't
What
take
happened?
away the fairness in the game.
Yeah.
Like what happened? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago when I forget? I don't even remember the game. There was a free kick and the player stood in front and actually tried to block the ball on a free kick. Then he got the instant.
Jimenez, they got rid of him.
It was Jimenez. I mean, that was. I mean, as a neutral in that game, it was hilarious
As a neutral,
that he did it.
But you know the rules that, but
Yeah.
it ruined the game at the end for Wolves. That is, but I mean, I don't know, man. It was my curiosity to see what you guys thought about that, but that's it.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring it back to Marco's refereeing point about like the relegation. How would you go about that? Like, how would you say, all right, this ref is getting relegated? Like, would it be like a vote?
One of the ways that I personally would do it,
It's be a board.
it has to be a board, but the board has to have at least one representative of every team in that board.
Of every team.
Every team that is in
No.
the Premier League.
Nah,
It has to
No.
be. The thing is that
you're influencing right there.
Yeah.
there you go. So they have to have a voice. Now I'm not saying they're the only ones that run it. No, there has to be a voice from every team that says, "Look, with this certain player," and they have to hear it. They also have to see it because they're watching the game. So it's not like they're being dumb, right? It's not like they're only reading paper and that's it. They have to be aware of what's going on. If there's a callback saying, oh, like so and so, oh, Eric, this team at this minute, like look at what he missed and shit like that. They have to go and review it and analyze it, discuss it amongst 4 or 5 members.
Wait, that's what we're asking. Who are these people like deciding?
Who? I mean, there has to be a board, but as again, the team has to have influence. At least one member has to be able to have straight communication with these people, because I feel like in the ref world, there's like the refs, the teams, and there's really nobody in between.
Yeah, you're right.
So I feel like there has to be at least one person specifically that has a direct contact with the ref association, and that ref association has at least 4 or 5 people that are reviewing and checking every instances of the bad calls.
Yeah.
They make a listing of every single one. If this ref has nothing, like nobody has to say shit about him, then why would you consider him to relegated, right? And the same thing goes from the other side. If you see that this referee is consistently playing a fair ref game and doesn't have anybody giving them shit or talking bad about them, why not be considered to move up? Even though they might be young or not much experience, but you know what? That's why you have that relegation and promotion, because they might go up and then they shit the bed with being in Premier League because it's too much. So I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a blueprint. Obviously, you can poke out a holes into all of our theories here, but it's a good idea. I actually would be for that. Let us know what you guys think. If you are for this relegation promotion or the officiating, Marco gave you the blueprint, so now it's the Premier League to instill it.
I also dislike the fact that players and team and coaches can't talk bad about the refs.
Yeah,
I think that's fucked up.
Agree with that 100%. I think that
I think
refs should be held accountable.
Too much.
Yeah.
But they should be able to be talked.
Yeah, like accusing refs, like of what? I think it was Bellingham.
Yeah.
He didn't really. I mean, like he didn't accuse them of anything that was wrong.
He threw
He threw a fact.
Yeah.
He threw a fact in there, and I'm for it because I like the controversy. But yeah, it maybe accusing refs of fixing games is definitely it's a little
too extra
pushing the envelope. But yeah, I think refs should be held.
And I think that's what causes it. Is that okay? We're perfect. Don't talk shit about us. And then there's frustration built because they can't actually have that conversation because there's way too many people to be able to get to the ref association.
And I feel like too protected, but
way too protected.
We'll see, man. We'll see. That's a blueprint. Let us know what you think. Premier League, do it. That'd be fun to watch, actually. See which refs get. Mike Dean, please get relegated all the way down to the fucking
non-league.
North Playing Recreation.
I think all of them. I think all of them.
So let's get into this weekend's matchups. We'll go over the big 6 games, I guess, because there's a lot of no real blockbusters per se this Boxing Day, which is kind of surprising me, but it's always fun to watch. If you want to do a live stream, maybe we'll do a live stream. If not, if you're too busy opening gifts or spending time with your families, that's fine as well. Or if you're alone, come share your voice and we'll share it together. Game previews on Thursday. You want to? Do you want to stay for Thursday? Want to end it here?
Don't matter.
I'm free.
All right, so we'll do game previews on Thursday because you know what? That's a good point because games might get canceled up until then.
Yeah, we don't know.
So we don't know what might happen yet. So you know what? We're gonna end it here. We're save predictions for Thursday, and we'll try to get some cool talking points, something some controversy, and we'll pick it up then. What's up?
I do have a question. Maybe we can discuss this. I think I asked you this one of our drives home. We can discuss this on Thursday if you want. How do you think some of the teams that will be losing their players for the Afghan Cup, how are they going to be lining up, and who do you think is going to be the most effective?
Okay, matching is now or later?
No, for Thursday.
Okay, all right. So let us know who's going to be fucked by AFCON if it happens. If it happens, it doesn't make it.
There's a possibility that it might not. But
so we'll see what happens. But if that, I guess with all that being said, we'll end it here. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest, boys and girls? No. That's it. All right.
Yeah, hop on.
I thought you were going to say something. Yeah, for real, man. Stop leaving me hanging.
I got you. VR poker.
Download it, bro. Please download it.
It's in my queue. As soon as I turn around when I get home. Listen, it's there.
So the 5 times he's been on, it's sitting there.
No, I did it after.
I'm gonna end up playing poker with you before he does.
I think you will.
I suck. Full disclosure. I suck at poker.
Me too, but
I'm so bad.
It's not about playing because you're only wasting time. You're not wasting money. It's
about having. You put your extra money in it.
Oh, never mind.
Nah, okay. I'd be broke right now.
I might as well play poker with you guys. At least I know where the money's
Yeah, for real, right? With all that being said, we are the Benchwarmers, the bench with the voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.